In this video, we are going to talk about a well-known attacking pattern known as the fool's may pattern. In order to understand this attacking pattern, we have to see the fastest checkmate in chess. This happens when some of the players push the f-pawn in a premature way during the opening phase. For example, after f4, this is known as the bear opening, and here we are going to see the fastest mate after e6. Notice that with the advance of the f-pawn, immediately the king is pretty unsafe, and black is going to try to look for the invasion square on h4 to try to attack the king, for sure. Black have to be very careful about when to do this, because white can simply push the pawn and block the checkmate. But for didactical purpose, we are going to see the next blunder in order to understand the importance of this, of the recognition of this pattern. By taking the invasion square, the king is trapped and the game is over. This is the simplest way to explain this checkmate pattern. And now we are going to see the same situation, but being applied in more complex positions. Okay, let's go to the next chapter. And here we are going to see an analysis of a specific game where one of the players weakens his king pushing the f-pawn. After e4, e5, and d4, here we have an opening known as the center game. In this moment of the game, black have a lot of options. The main continuation, and probably the most principal one, it will be the capture on d4, because there is a rule that suggests that any pawn, any central pawn that can be captured and cannot be recaptured immediately with another pawn must be taken. In the game, black did this move, f6. What we may say that this is an opening mistake, because it's a very risky situation due to the exposition of the king, especially considering that in this situation the queen is ready to take the invasion square and to attack the king. Notice that if white do this right now, black will be ready to block the check with g6 and nothing happened. In the game, white did knight f3, what, even despite it's a logical developed move in the opening phase, this move is blocking the access to the queen to the invasion square, so probably it's not the best way to punish, the careless way of play by black. Okay, so here the most challenging continuation will be the capture on e5, because the idea of the move is that after the most natural reply, that it will be a mistake for black, that is the capture here, white can simply take the invasion square, but now in much better conditions, because g6 is still available, but when black block with g6, the pawn on e5 is going to be hanging anyway, with terrible consequence for black, because the rook is hanging on the corner. So we may see the effect of the fool's may pattern. In general lines, what we can conclude is do not push the f-pawn. Normally in the opening phase, especially with the king in the center of the board, it's very risky, because if the enemy queen take the invasion square doing a check, it may be really risky. So now we are going to see some opening theory, that have been developed around this idea, the recognition of this attacking pattern. For this, we are going to go through different openings, starting with the King's Gambit. Notice that in all those openings that we are going to see, the King's Gambit, the Latvian Gambit, and the Dutch defense, all those openings have something in common, and is the advance of the f-pawn in the start of the game. Let's start with the King's Gambit. So after e4, e5, by the way, we are going to see this from black point of view, f4. Here we have the gambit, and again the king is weak, the queen can take the invasion square, but this will be premature because white can block the check with g3. So right now black have a lot of different continuations, like defend the pawn with another pawn, counter gambits, but the most challenging one is accept the gambit with pawn takes on f4, and there is a reason for it. This is the move that renew the threat and make use in the best way possible the attacking pattern. So right now black is ready to take the invasion square and to create troubles in white's position. For example, if white doesn't know this pattern, a very natural move after deflect the pawn from the center, it may be take the central control with d4. But after d4, black can simply get the invasion square, and now g3 will not be good in the same conditions like before because of the capture, and the pawn on h2 will be pinned. Because of that, now in order to show you the main theory of this opening, white have to play knight f3. And this is the most logical move, because with this move, white prepared d4, but the invasion square is being covered. And the king's gambit is a very complex opening, because in order to put pressure on white, black will need to do a lot of illogical and irregular moves. Really, in this stage of the game, we would like to control the center, what is not happening right now because of the capture on f4 and the deflection of the pawn. And also we would like to keep developing the pieces normally, but if we do that, probably white will have a better central control without receive any pressure, because of his kind of careless game in the opening. One of the most challenging continuations here don't follow any opening principle, and is g5. So black delayed the development of the minor pieces, but for the sake of create this positional threat, g4. By kicking the knight, if the knight is not defending the invasion square anymore, the queen will be able to take the invasion square again, creating troubles for black. So here white have a lot of options. We are going to see the main line, that is this very weird move, h4, but in case of a natural move like d4, after g4, the queen will be ready to get the invasion square. Sample line, knight e5, queen h4 check, g3, and pawn takes. And black have a very good initiative because white cannot recapture because of the pin. I think that right now there is some gains in the master database, what we can see that black is scoring very, very well. Okay, really this theory is created and based in the following of the pattern and the recognition of those attacking patterns. So going back to this position where black is looking for g4, one of the best moves for white here is h4 in order to prevent that the queen get the invasion square. Now black can push forward, kick the knight, but the queen will not be able to get this square, creating the troubles that we saw before. Okay, remember that this analysis in order to understand those attacking patterns and to see how this opening theory is created around this idea. In the next example, we are going to see the Latvian gambit. Here we go. The Latvian gambit is exactly the same like the king's gambit, but with inverted colors. Okay, and now we are going to try to take advantage of the advance of the f-pawn, but from white point of view. In order to get this defense, this may happen after e4, e5, knight f3, and f5. So here we go. The king is exposed, and this diagonal is weak. The unique difference in comparison with the previous chapter is that the knight is already on f3, blocking the access of the queen to the invasion square. So here white have a lot of options. White can accept the gambit, try to counteract the gambit with a central reaction, or maybe defend this pawn in a very modest way. But any of those moves will be the most challenging continuation for black, because in order to put pressure on black position, we should try to get the invasion square with the queen. And because of that, if you look again in the master database, the main move and the move with the highest winning rate is the capture on e5. That is the move that allows the queen look for the critical square. So knight takes e5, the queen is ready to go to h5. For didactical purpose, if black push the pawn to d6, that will be a blunder, because here we go, the queen is ready to take the invasion square, and after g6 we have these tactics. Notice that black cannot recapture because of the pin. Here black have an in-between move to kick the queen, but now we can simply move the queen and preserving the pin on the rook. Normally the queen on h4 used to be good, keeping the pin on the pawn on h7, and black will not be able to take the knight. So now the rook is under attack, black needs to move the rook, white is going to win the bishop pair, taking the data square bishop on f8, and after that white will have simple 2 extra pawn and a better position because black is going to lose the right to castle. So let's go back to the main position. So d6 was a blunder here. Black have a couple of logical suggestions. The engine suggests knight f6. That really this is the easiest way to prevent queen h5. But this will not be the main theory in the Latvian gambit. There is another way to address the threat of queen h5 check that will be with queen f6. This is really the main line in the Latvian gambit, hitting the knight, and really in case of queen h5 now after g6, the queen is really giving some support to the pawn on g6, and the queen is under attack, the knight is under attack. If knight takes on g6, queen takes on g6, and black wins material. So queen f6 works as an indirect defense versus the white queen or the enemy queen taking the invasion square. In this position, normally the best for white is push d4 in order to defend the knight, and the game will continue with a lot of theory. But notice that all this theory is created around the same idea. Try to punish the advance of the f pawn in the opening phase. In order to complete this lesson, we are going to see the final example. This happened in the Dutch defense. The Dutch defense is a defense used against d4 openings. Let's go there. So here we are going to see this from white point of view. So d4 and f5. Here we go again. This example is going to be a little bit different because in order to follow the same philosophy, to try to get the invasion square, probably one of the best attempts to punish black for this, I would say risky move, it will be playing a gambit that is known as the Stoughton gambit with e4. This move opened the diagonal for the queen, but black will be ready to block with g6. So really right now it's not too critical, but this is an interesting alternative. For today's lesson, I would like to show you the attacking pattern, but with this interesting move, h3. This is a move that is just looking for g4, hoping to deflect the pawn to be able to do later e4 in better conditions because the pawn will not be controlling the center. So black continued with the normal development, and now g4. So in this position, the best move for black is don't pay attention to the free pawn offered by white and continue with normal development with d5. After d5, black position should be slightly better. But really this is an opening trap that tries to exploit the fact that the black king is very exposed after the advance of the f pawn. If black decides to accept the challenge, taking the pawn, now white can recapture, and white will be ready, to go forward and kick the knight, or also to develop the same idea that we are going to see later, that is queen d3, to try to put pressure on a7. So in case of knight takes on g4, now here we go, queen d3. Queen d3. So with queen d3, white is ready to attack on a7. Notice that the way to attack, is different because we are not looking for the invasion square on h5. With this move, really white is looking for this critical square on g6. White is ready to recover the pawn on a7 in better conditions, and because of that, many players here can try to defend the pawn with a regrouping move. Notice the knight on g4 is hanging. So in case of knight f6, now white have an amazing sacrifice in order to enable the square needed for the queen to finish the game. And the sacrifice will be rook takes a7, removing the defender of the g6 square. Notice that right now, without matter how black recapture on a7, the checkmate will be the same. If rook takes, queen g6 and it's game over. And if knight takes, queen g6 and it's game over. In both situations, we are trying to use the fact that the black king or the king, without matter the color, was exposed after the advance of the f pawn. So in general lines, be careful if you want to push the f pawn in the opening phase. I mean, there is some defense where this is possible. It may be perfect plottable, but you need to be extremely careful because the creation of this attacking pattern for the opponent, or maybe for you, if your opponent is who is going to push the pawn in the opening, will be available. And we need to keep that on mind in order to be able to find the best move in the position. So, well, thank you so much for your time. I hope you learned about this attacking pattern. From now, you may be more careful before push your F pawn in the opening phase. Thank you so much.